For years, I felt like my marketing decisions, well, they weren't really decisions, they were more like guessing. Trying a bunch of platforms and tactics and hoping that sales would follow. But once I started using these 6 Notion features in my marketing system, things started to click. I could actually see what's working and make confident marketing decisions instead of working really hard but making zero progress. Because if you're second guessing every post, every campaign, or every offer you put out there, it's exhausting. So these 6 Notion features in combination give you clarity without adding extra hours of work. So I'm about to dive into the 6 Notion features that you'll want in your marketing system. But before that, if you want to learn more about using Notion for your online business, you can join my free community. I'll leave the link in the description. This one is so basic, but just because it's basic doesn't mean it's not important. And that is to use Notion's calendar view to map out your content. It's a great way to start out a Notion build, particularly if you tend to look at Notion when it's a blank page and have no idea how to start building what you're looking for. If it's calendar based, start with a calendar. The things you want to include are definitely publishing date, and if you tend to batch record as well, you might want to add in a schedule date or a kind of complete the work date by, or deadline date, that's the word I was looking for. But I would sort the actual calendar that you can view on your page by publishing date, so you can actually see your content calendar. So now that we've got the starting point, let's zoom in on the details to see what make this all work so well. A lot of people don't know if the marketing actions that they actually took led to someone actually following through and taking the action you wanted them to take. Whether that's to follow you on Instagram, to sign up to your email list, or to buy your offer. And if you are using several marketing platforms at the same time, it's easy to lose track of what you've actually done. Here's where a single select property comes in. If you use a single select property to tag what platform you're using, so for example, Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe collaborations, or maybe you're doing a lot of cold outreach, you can then track how much you showed up on each platform or using different tactics at the end of the month. The same goes if you use single select property to tag the purpose of your content. So did you create this piece of content or this marketing action that you're taking? Did you do that to grow your following? Did you do it to nurture somebody, or did you do it to actually sell an offer? And if it was to sell an offer, which offer? And that means, again, you can keep track of exactly how much you spoke about each offer or lead magnet or tried to nurture people at the end of the month. And lastly, if you use a single select property for your media type, that means you can also track how often you were sharing videos, sharing text posts, carousels, and you can see if those impact your sales in any way. So there's a really good reason to make these single select properties so that we can really dig into our data in a granular way, and we'll get onto that in feature number 5. So for my free community, for example, a lot of people joined that community coming from emails that I sent to my list. So I can, by tagging this every time I plan a piece of content, every time I send an email, I can actually go back at the end of the month and review if I've sent that many emails about my school community. And if I haven't, I might want to increase that if my school community growth has gone down. Even if you start with just one of these single select properties, you'll learn loads. Okay, so you've tagged your marketing actions. Now make sure that your call to actions are just as trackable. This is the part of content planning that most people skip, and it could be costing them sales in the long run. So the feature is a link property. And if you add a link property to your marketing system, you can attach your call to action URL whilst you're planning your content. So if your LinkedIn post points people to a freebie, you add that freebie link in while you're planning. This means you don't have to go digging around for the right link because it's already in your database, and once your database starts to build, you'll have those links already in there. But there's a second reason that you want to include your link in here, and we'll come on to that when we cover the next feature. This is not much extra work at the planning stage, but trust me, future you will thank you for doing this. This is where Notion starts to feel like magic. You can use the formula property to create a trackable link. Now, I am not the best at Notion formulas, so I actually used ChatGPT to help me work out the formula. So you can use your formula field to combine your link URL with the attribute fields that you've already put into your marketing system, like the platform you're using and the media you're using. If you then use the link that's generated by the formula field, you can actually track what platform and what media type led to somebody visiting your sales page or your freebie page or whatever page it is you've pointed them to. So instead of a generic link, you'll have a link that has lots of extra information at the end that helps Google Analytics or a similar tool to figure out where your traffic came from. They are called UTM links, and although you get lots of free UTM link generators online, this saves you from having to go log into those and switch tabs. It's going to be generated automatically for you while you're planning your content, so that you don't forget to do it, and it's there so you can literally take it and paste it into your content immediately. Even if formulas scare you, this one is worth setting up because you do it once and then it runs automatically. Okay, so once you've started planning your content, you come to the end of the month, you've got all this data for the month, what do you do next? This is where you stop guessing and start seeing the truth, whether it's good or bad. So you can use Notion charts to visualize your data. I love Notion charts, but you only get one free chart with the free plan, but don't worry, stay tuned because the next feature will help you if you're on the free plan. By creating a chart view that's attached to your planner, this is a really quick and easy way to review what marketing you did at the end of the month. Because once you've created it, you just need to click onto another tab and make sure you've filtered the dates correctly so you're seeing your previous month. You'll see at a glance how many times you've promoted each offer, which if you sell more than one offer is really valuable because this will tell you which offers it's worth spending your time on promoting. So I used to work in retail buying for a mail order catalogue, and my very first job was to measure the percentage of space each product had on each page. So we used this as a decision-making tool. If a product had a lot of space but hadn't made that many sales, then it would possibly get cut from the catalogue. Whereas if a product had a tiny amount of space but had made lots of sales, kind of not proportionate with how much space it had, then it would get more space in the next catalogue, or we'd possibly even try and source other products that were similar to it. Numbers don't lie, and when you see them visually, it makes decisions a lot easier to make. But hey, if you're on the free plan, don't worry, we've got options. If you're not paying for features like Notion charts, then this feature can give you clarity instead. You can use the board view and view it by product or platform. You can also use the aggregation feature at the top. You can find it by clicking the three dots at the top of any of your boards, and you can select count so that you can count the number of entries there are on that board. And if you filter by month, it will then reduce the number of entries on your board to cover just that month. This means you can see exactly the same information that you can see in charts. It's a little less visually appealing, and you have to scroll along a bit to see it all, but you still get that data. For example, if you had a board grouped by offer, you could see pretty quickly which offers you've been neglecting that month. Sometimes simple is best, and this view can be almost as good as charts. And the next step is to use it. If you want a ready-to-go version of this marketing system, in my free community, you can grab the paid template. But there are lots of other templates in there available for free if you just want to try those out and come just chat with other people who are using Notion to grow their online business. I'll drop a link in the description so you can check it out.